Check it out. For this problem, what do I always do first? AJ?
Find the A, B, and C.
A, B, and C. So A is equal to?
1.
B is equal to?
2.
C is equal to?
-15.
Very good. Okay, peeps, what do I do after that? Sure, we got A, B, and C. That's fine. But what do I do after that? Yeah, AJ?
You have to find two numbers that
Add to what?
2.
Very good. And?
Two numbers that multiply
To -15. What two numbers satisfy these two equations? Alfonso? 5 and -3. Very good. So this is not my answer, though. 5 and -3 are not my answers. What is my answer, Caitlin? Very good. Parentheses x plus 5 times x minus 3. How many of us got that? Yay! Okay, that's better than we thought. All right, guys. So before we jump into today's lesson, to go ahead and highlight that today's focus is when A is not equal to 1. Everything we've seen before is when A is equal to 1, okay? Now, when A is equal to 1, you're going to see it. When A is not 1, it's a much more complicated process. So there's a few extra steps. I guarantee all of you can do it, but it's time consuming. So if it's possible, underline the GCF word. If it's possible, make A 1. Our first priority is if we can make A equal to 1, then we are setting ourselves up for success because that problem is going to be way easier, okay? So how we make A equal to 1 is you always look first for a GCF. And if you don't do this part, you're going to be dealing with large numbers. It's going to be very difficult. Always remember, GCF comes first, okay? So let's take a look at these first two examples. When you initially look at this, A is equal to what? 5. So it's not 1, correct? Yeah. But if you leave A as 5, you're going to go through the A not equal to 1 process, and it's going to get very complicated. But do they all have a common factor, A, B, and C? Yeah. Factor that out. Factor out the 5. So you're going to factor out the 5. So you're going to write, oops, not with a highlighter, with an actual thingy. What am I doing? Okay, 5. Guys, what's on the inside if I factor out a 5 from these three terms? AJ. 3x plus 2 is incorrect. Yes.
X squared plus 3x plus 0.
That is correct. X squared plus 3x plus 2. AJ, you got the last two terms. Don't forget about that first term. Okay? You see it now? Okay. Now, all we care about, the 5 is factored out. Ignore him for now. Look at the inside. Is A equal to 1? Our problem just became so much easier. Now we follow the same steps. Yeah, Caitlin. Because all you care about now is what's inside the parentheses, okay? So look at what's inside. Do you see how A is, what's in front of the x squared? A 1, right? So now we're going to say, okay, A is 1. What is B? 3. And what is C? Now this becomes a standard A equals 1 problem. How do we factor when A is equal to 1? Add to give me 3. And multiply to give me 2. What numbers go there? 2 and 1. So now watch. This part on the inside of our parentheses factors to what? X plus 2 and x plus 1. But guys, what did we factor out in the very beginning? The 5. The 5 needs to stay in front on the outside. This is our final answer.
Oh.
That's it.
I was expecting so. Yeah, me too.
This is not so bad, guys, but this is still when A is equal to 1. Because do you see how we factored out the GCF? What happens when A can't be factored? That's the part that we're going to get into, okay? So let's take a look at the second one. What do we always look for first? GCF. Guys, sometimes it helps. Always just write GCF and put a question mark. Is there a GCF between 8, 56, and 48? Yeah. Sure is. What is it? 8. So factor out an 8. When you factor out an 8, what's left over, guys? Redemption? Go for it.
X squared. Oh, shoot. Minus 7x.
There we go. plus 6 is correct. X squared minus 7x plus 6. That's our guy. That's AJ. He's back in business. Hey, peeps, what is A now? 1. This problem just became so much easier. And you're going to see how much easier when we go over when A is not equal to 1, okay? So, what is A here now? We said it 1, right? What is B, Salucci? What is C? 6. Colin, what do I set up? Actually, Colin, have you watched my 7.5 video? Because you were out last week, weren't you?
I
Think you know it? Okay.
So, whatever adds up together to be -7.
Yeah, buddy. And?
Whatever is multiplied together to get 6.
Very good. Does anyone know what two numbers go here? Natalie?
-6 and -1.
You're so good. -6 and -1. Okay, someone else take over. What does this, only what's inside the parentheses? Only what's inside of the parentheses. What does it factor to, Mateo?
X plus -6 and X plus -1.
Very good. Guys, can he write it like this?
No.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
What about 8?
What 8? Ah, this would only get you some points. What does Matthew need in front of it? The 8. Don't forget about what you factored in the beginning. Don't forget about what you factored in the beginning. Very good, Matthew. Okay? Any questions so far? So you guys agree when we can make A equal to 1, pretty standard, right? Pretty standard? Okay. Now we're going to take a look at an example where there's no GCF. Okay. So this is what's going on, and I wrote this down for a reason, okay? I gave you a completely done problem, and I want you guys to try to figure out what happened here, okay? So, do you guys agree that there's nothing that we can factor out from between 4, 13, and 3? So, are we stuck with A being 4?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, sometimes there's no way around A not being 1, okay? What did they do first? Where did this 12 come from? Alfonso. Excellent. They multiplied 4 and 3, which were what two terms? A and C. Very good. So they multiplied A and C. Did they touch B? No, they kept it the same. And now what they were looking for was two numbers that multiply to give you 12, but add to give you 13. Let's compare that to 7.5. In 7.5, what was A always equal to? 1. So weren't we still technically multiplying A times C? But it was just 1 times whatever C was? So does that kind of make sense? When A is not 1, you have to multiply A times C. You guys with me? Okay. The two numbers that they got were what?
12 and 13. Or 12 and 1.
12 and 1. Now, I want you to look at the next thing that's written, and I want you to try to figure out where did they get this from? Where do you think they got that from? That's the whole premise of today's lesson. Yes?
So they kept 4x to the power to the same,
Excellent.
and then they added 12x.
Where did the 12 come from? Where did the 12 come from, Matthew?
They multiplied 4 and 3.
They multiplied 4 and 3? Close. What do you think we found those factors for? That's where the 12 came from. Highlight it, guys. This factor, this 12, is going to become one of your 2 in the middle.
Okay, wait.
And then what was the other factor? 1. So that's going to be 1x.
I should have said it.
Okay? And then the last piece, what's at the very end, guys?
The 3 that
Where's the 3 coming from? The C value. Matthew.
Where does the x come from?
Well, 12 was one of our factors, right? So it's 12x. 1 was one of our factors. Isn't x the same as 1x? Okay. Hey, I have a question for you. What do you get when you add 12x and x?
12x.
Oh, no, 13x.
No, 13x.
13x. Isn't that what we had for the b term? So all we're doing is we're breaking up that 13 into two different terms, right? But they both have an x, right? And then they did what? They put parentheses around the first two and the second two. Guys, this is a very, very important process called grouping. Write it down. Okay? They're grouping the first two terms together and the second two terms together. Then look what they did next. What did they do next? What's in purple? What about the 4x? AJ? They found the GCF. They grouped them together and then they found the GCF.
And then after I know what happens.
And then, Addison?
I'm confused about the second part. Like,
Good. Thank you for speaking up. Which part? Which part?
Like the part that's 4x and then parentheses x plus
Yep.
3.
So the first term, right? Hey, stop. No, this is too important. Addison asked a very good question. 4x squared, do you see how it didn't move? 3x, or the 3 at the end didn't change, right? They took 13x and they broke it up into 12x and x. Do you guys agree that 12x plus x gives me 13x?
But how do you get from there 4x parentheses x plus 3?
Oh, the factoring. Okay, so what's the GCF between 4x squared and 12x? 4x, right? Because they both have an x in common as well. You factor that out, you're left with x plus 3.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Over here, x plus 3. Do they have a GCF? No, so all you can really pull out is a? 1.
Oh my god.
Yes, Natalie.
I was gonna say what happens after.
Okay, hold on. Caitlin. Which 3? Oh, well, what's 12x? What's 12 divided by 4? 3. And if you remove the x from here, isn't there just the 3 left? Kind of make sense? Yes. Yeah, sure, but do they satisfy this? This is how we got those two numbers. Does that make sense now? Okay. All right, guys. And then lastly, your GCFs become one of your terms. So 4x plus 1. And your second term, guys, you know you did it right if what's inside the parentheses matches each other. Does x plus 3 match x plus 3? That's your second binomial. Now, I told you guys, yes, or in 7.5, we can always go back and check our work by doing what? Foiling. You can foil this too. Let's foil right over here. So this was our answer. Let's foil and make sure we end up right back at the beginning. Someone walk me through foiling, someone who I haven't heard from yet today. Come on now. McCarvin. Thank you.
So what you do, you multiply 4x and x.
Okay.
4x for the second.
Yep.
Then you multiply with 3.
Okay.
And you will get 3.
My eyebrows, perfect.
And then you multiply 1 times x, and that's just x.
Plus x, and?
Then you multiply 4x and 3.
And that gave me?
12x.
12x. Combine like terms reorganized into what form? Standard form, very good. What's my final answer? Yeah, Caitlin.
X, 4x to the second, plus x plus 15.
Plus x plus 15?
Yeah.
Close. Yep.
4x to the second plus 13x plus 3.
There we go. Plus 13x.
I don't like this.
Plus 3. Caitlin, do you see how this 3, it shouldn't be combined with any of the other terms? The two x terms should get combined? Okay. Yes, McCarvin.
For the other parts, where did the 12 go?
The 12?
Yeah.
You factored it out. Okay. Okay. So it factored to be x plus 3. Yes, Andrea.
So every time you have you can factor it out.
Correct.
Just multiply A.
A times c. This is what we're going to do every time. Guys, I know some of you are like, I don't know what's going on. And that is okay. I'm telling you it's okay. What do we do when we are not particularly good at something in the beginning? You got to practice, okay? And you're in a group for a reason. Build off of each other. Remember, if you have that moment, what do I need from you?
Oh.
Say, oh, give the class some reinforcement. Be like, I get it now. I'm ready to help someone else, okay? All right, let's go. Let's do the second example, which is letter B. What do I always look for first?
A, B, and C values.
No, even before A, B, and C now. GCF, very good. Is there a greatest common factor between these three? No. So what do I have to do? Now I do A, B, C. So A is 3, B is -7, and C is 2, correct? Matthew? A times C, which is? 6. Then what? Someone else, help him out. Someone help him out. Two numbers that add to give me -7, and they multiply to give me 6. Your A times C value. Segi.
-1, -6.
Excellent. -1 and -6. Hey now, this is the part that I need complete focus on. The first term was what?
3x.
You don't touch it. 3x squared. The last term was what? +2. You don't touch it. The middle term, which was -7x, breaks down into what two terms?
-x and -6x.
-x and -6x. Where are those two numbers coming from? The factors. And you always separate them with a plus sign. Now we have to do the grouping. What happened when we grouped? What were we putting on this 4-term binomial or polynomial? Parentheses. Put parentheses around the first two, put parentheses around the second two. And look for GCF. Guys, what's the GCF between 3x squared and -x? -1? 1 and x. So pull out an x. What's left over when you factor out an x? 3x, not x, -1. Why is it 1, Salucci? I did pull out an x. And if there's one x here and you pull out an x, isn't there just a 1 left over? Okay. What about the second binomial? Matthew?
3.
You want to pull out a 3? 2 is not divisible by 3. Pull out a 2. Remember to put a plus sign. It's going to be -3x plus 1. They almost match. What's different about them? The negatives. So couldn't we just pull out a -2 and change the signs? So change that to a -2. We're going to get x times 3x minus 1. Let's keep that guy the same. But instead, pull out a -2, and you're going to get positive 3x minus 1. You are only finished when these two match each other. Do they match?
Yes.
And by these two, I mean the two binomials that are inside the parentheses. So now one of your factors is 3x minus 1. Write it down. The other factor are your GCFs. What were my GCFs? X and -2. So my second factor is x minus 2. I see some people with really bad mentalities right now. You have to give yourself a chance. Yes?
What did you do to get the 3x minus 1 and the x minus 2?
I factored. Wait, like at the very end?
Yeah, like
Okay, so do you see how these parentheses parts match? That will always be one of your factors. The second factor comes from whatever the GCFs were. So this -2 came from there, And this x came from here. Does that make sense? Yeah, Christian.
At the top where it's negative x and negative 6x,
Yes.
does it have to be like that?
No. You could put negative 6x and negative x and you'll get the same answer.
I put negative 6x.
But your common factor will be x minus 2, and your GCFs will be 3x and negative 1. Cool. Let's do another one. Not C. We're going to skip C for now. We're looking at D. 2x squared minus 7x plus 5. What do I always look for first? GCF. Is there GCF here? No. So are we able to make A equal to 1? We're left with A being equal to 2. B is going to be negative 7 and C is going to be 5. What do I do?
Multiply A and C.
Multiply A and C. What is A times C? 10. Bingo. What do I do after that? Two numbers that add to give me negative 7, a sum and a product. Very good, Salucci. Negative 7. What do they multiply to? 10. Not 5 anymore, because it would be 5 if A was equal to 1. Now we have to multiply A and C to get our factors, okay? Yes?
I said it was -5 and -2.
Bingo. Negative 5 and negative 2. Because two negatives, when you multiply them, they become a positive. Very good. So, who wants to take a shot at the next? It has to have 4 terms there. Salucci. Segi.
2x to the second,
Yep.
and then parentheses.
Where's the parentheses? In front or behind?
In front.
Okay.
Oh no, the other way.
Like here?
Behind.
Okay. I agreed with your first one. It should be here. Yep. What goes next to it?
Minus 5.
Yes. But not just minus 5.
X.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Close those parentheses. Good.
Plus
Yep.
negative 2x
Yep.
plus 5.
Yes. Guys, give it up for Segi. Let's go. Okay. So, does everyone see where I got those from? Those numbers came from the factors. Do you see how the negative 5 got moved right here and the negative 2 got moved right here? Also, go back. What is negative 5 minus 2?
Negative 7.
Negative 7. Okay, so check it out. Let's erase this so we don't confuse ourselves. Negative 5x and negative 2x. Okay. Guys, do they kind of look similar? A little bit? Let's factor out the GCF, see what happens. What's the GCF between 2x squared and negative 5x? X. Good, so factor out an x. What's left? 2x minus 5. That's it, right? Okay, look at the second one. It's almost identical, but what's off? Not the squared, the negative. So guess what we can factor out of this guy? A negative 1. So add a negative 1, factor out a negative 1. What's my new binomial inside, Colin?
2x minus 5.
You're so good. Hey, I know I'm done when what happens? They match. Do they match?
Yes.
Yeah, buddy. So all I have to do is write my final answer. Someone take a crack at the final factored form. Natalie.
2x minus 5 in parentheses, and x minus 1.
Yep, that's it.
How'd you get the
Addison.
How'd you get the negative 1 out of the 5 again?
So you're dividing by negative 1 because it was 2x minus 5, right?
Yes.
We had negative 2x plus 5. So if you divide both of them by negative 1, you're just going to change the signs. So now they match each other. So we pulled out a negative 1. Yes, McCarvin, go ahead. Make sure you set a timer. Any questions? Yeah, Matthew.
How did you get x minus 1 in the end?
How did I get x minus 1? Someone else. Where did x minus 1 come from? You got it? Where did it come from, Matthew? Help your neighbor. The factors, very good. The GCFs, x and minus 1.
Okay, this is weird, but like I get it.
I get it.
Why would anyone?
I love that you said that. Yes, Andrea.
I know what to do. I just don't like doing it. It feels weird. Especially the second part.
No. Hey, that was a good question. Hey, listen up. Is a equal to 2x squared? No, it's only equal to the number, which is 2. Is c equal to just 5?
Yeah.
Yes. So when we multiply a and c, it's just 5 times 2, which is 10. Got it?
The 10 only like goes to where the
Correct. The b is still going to be negative 7. Okay? Correct. Let's do E. Let's do E. What do I always look for first? GCF, baby. What's the GCF? Nothing. So what do I do next? What do I do? A times C. Well, what's A? What's B? Who said 8? B is negative 14. Thank you. What's C? 8. Now I multiply A and C. You guys said that, right? What is A times C?
21.
Not 21. 24. Okay? What do I do now? What do I do now? Come on. Sum and? Not difference. What's multiplication? Product. Thank you. We need to know our vocab. Sum and product. They're going to add to what? Negative 14. And they're going to multiply to? 24. Thank you. Does anyone know these factors? Addison?
Negative 12 and negative 2.
You're so good. Negative 12 and negative 2. Why are they both negative?
So that they can equal a negative for addition and equal negative, positive for.
Very good. When we're multiplying them, we're getting a positive. Hey. What do I do next? AJ.
You have to make the two things.
What do you mean by that?
Two binomials.
What?
It's like group.
Oh, yes. You have to make the grouping. Okay, go for it.
You have 3x minus 12x
Okay.
and parentheses plus
Uh-huh.
negative 2x
Yep.
plus 8.
Plus 8. Guys, there's one small, very...
3x squared.
Thank you. All right, someone else. What do I do next? GCF. Salucci, take over.
So GCF of 3x and negative 12.
Oh. Yeah. What is the GCF?
Negative 4?
Negative 4. 3 is divisible by negative 4.
3x.
3x. Guys, what's left over if Salucci factors out a 3x? And x minus 4. Very good. Hey, second one. Remember, it needs to match that first one, x minus 4. Gagne?
Factor out negative 2.
Yes.
The 2 can be negative to the other side.
Very good.
Positive.
It's going to be?
X plus 4.
No.
X minus 4.
Minus 4. Thank you. Okay. What matches?
The binomials.
Are we happy if it matches? We're elated. What's my final answer? Segi.
X minus 4, parentheses 3x minus 2.
Yep.
Plus 3x minus 2? No.
Nope, just times. Okay? Mia, enough. Yes, Andrea. Why did I pull out a negative 2? Because we factored it out, right? Do you agree that this 2x and this 8, they're both divisible by 2? We factored out a negative because we wanted to match with a positive x and a negative second term. You will. Yes. The grouping is what you don't understand. What do you mean? Which part? The blue one up here? Okay. Do you know where the negative 12 is coming from? Yeah. From the factor? Do you know where the negative 2 is coming from? Yeah, why 2? It has to be x. Because what's negative 12x? Karen, what if we were to add these together? What would we get? If we were to combine like terms. Isn't that what we started with? In the middle? We're just taking negative 14x and we're breaking it up into two different parts. Okay? All right, Addison. Yes. Set a timer. Okay, guys. I'm going to do A and you're going to do B and C on your own. Okay? Let's go ahead and do it. What do I always look for first? Go ahead, Brady. Greatest common factor. Is there a GCF? No, unfortunately not. So we're going to do A times C. This is A, this is B, this is C. What is A times C, peeps?
Negative 14.
Thank you. A times C is going to give me negative 14. What do I do next?
Add and sum and product.
Sum and product. What are they going to add to? Negative 5. Very good. And they're going to multiply to? Negative 14. Bingo. Hey, there we go. Negative 7 and positive 2. Negative 7 and positive 2. What do I write next? The grouping part. Good. Guys, it helps if you put parentheses and a plus sign. All right. What's my first term? Nope. 2x squared. What's my last term? No. Minus 7. Okay. What goes next to the 2x squared?
2.
Nope.
What? Minus 7.
Minus 7x. Now, if you put plus 2x, okay, that's fine. That means your next term should be minus 7x over here. You just have to be consistent. This second one is going to be 2x minus 7. Do you see how they kind of already almost match?
Yeah.
Now find the GCF. What's the GCF of the first two terms?
X.
Just x. Factor it out. What do you get?
2x minus 7.
Minus 7. Guys, if the second two terms don't have a GCF, what do you factor out? A 1. And then you write it as 2x minus 7. Do my parentheses match?
Yes.
I am so happy when this happens because I know I've got the right answer. What do I do now?
You have to write your binomials.
Which are?
2x minus 7
2x minus 7
and x
plus 1. If I was like, I'm not really that sure about this answer, what do I do? Foil to check.
Are you the plus 1?
Where did I get the plus 1 from? All right, guys, take 2 minutes. I need you guys to ask the questions you were going to ask me to each other. Go. Everyone go back to B. 4x plus 1 and x minus 5 is factored. I need everyone to get B before you move on to C. If you are done and you've moved on, go back and help the people around you. Go.
Okay.
5. The answer to C is 3x minus 4 times 2x plus 3. We will leave off here. We will go over these tomorrow. Big Ideas is due on Wednesday. So I would get some of it done tonight. And then we'll finish the notes tomorrow.